EU leaders have been lambasted for pledging to protect the bloc from a new wave of migrants in the wake of the Afghanistan crisis. France, Germany and Greece have been accused of turning the other way in the face of millions of desperate Afghans that are expected to seek to escape the Taliban after the country was overtaken by the Islamist group. Greek Migration Minister Notis Mitarachi said on Tuesday that his country could not become the entry point into the European Union for Afghans fleeing the escalating conflict in their homeland. Greece was on the front line of Europe's migration crisis in 2015, when nearly 1 million people fleeing conflict in Syria, Iraq and Afghanistan landed on its islands, and like other EU member states, it is nervous that developments in Afghanistan could trigger a replay of that crisis. We are clearly saying that we will not and cannot be the gateway of Europe for the refugees and migrants who could try to come to the European Union, Mitarachi told state television ERT. We cannot have millions of people leaving Afghanistan and coming to the European Union, and certainly not through Greece, he said. Echoing his concerns, French President Emmanuel Macron said France should have a robust plan to anticipate and protect itself from a wave of migrants from Afghanistan. Dealing with those fleeing the Taliban would need an organized and fair international effort, the French president said in a televised address on Tuesday. He added, Europe alone cannot assume the consequences of the current situation. In Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel said the country's priority was to evacuate up to 10,000 people from Afghanistan for whom it has a responsibility. But her successor and CDU leader Armin Laschet was prompt to warn Germany cannot fix the situation in Afghanistan through a repeat of the open-door migrant policy it pursued in 2015. Germany opened its borders 6 years ago to more than 1 million migrants, many of them Syrians, fleeing war and poverty, a bold move that won Merkel plaudits abroad but which proved controversial at home and eroded some of her political capital. For us, it is clear that 2015 must not be repeated, Paul Ziemek, General Secretary of Merkel's Christian Democratic Union, CDU, told broadcaster NTV. We won't be able to solve the Afghanistan question through migration to Germany. The EU leaders were lambasted by Greek opposition DiEM25, led by Yanis Varoufakis, who claimed Brussels was setting an outrageous example of its moral bankruptcy. They said, outrageous example of the West's complete moral bankruptcy. Macron and CDU leader Laschet copying the Greek government's declaration that Afghan refugees running from the Islamo-fascist Taliban are not welcome in Fortress Europe. National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden also lambasted President Macron after his statement, accusing the French leader of using the Afghanistan crisis to lure in far-right voters ahead of the presidential election. He tweeted, "This can't possibly be right, can it? Is it a mistranslation? This sounds an awful lot like Macron's priority when the Taliban are in the midst of door-to-door reprisals is covering his flank for some election, not saving lives." Najat Vallaud-Belkacem, a former government spokesperson and minister under François Hollande, also said, "But why these words? Is this what politics has become, the tactical and icy at the same time, again and again, no matter what the distressing circumstances?" EU foreign ministers held a crisis meeting on Tuesday to discuss the fall of Afghanistan to the Taliban, and Greece has requested that the issue is also discussed at a meeting of EU Home Affairs ministers today.